Hello, I'm Mark McEwen, and I'm excited about this new part of my life called McEwen's Mark. But first, let me tell you something about me. From 1987 to 2002, you allowed me into your homes as a weatherman, as an anchor on The Early Show on CBS. And then in 2004, I moved here to be the anchor on the local CBS station, WKMG. In late 2005, my family and I were struck with a major tragedy. I suffered a massive stroke. Doctors said I had to learn to walk again, to talk again, and swallow again. I was determined to do the one thing I did before the stroke, doing this. Well, guess what? I'm back with McEwen's Mark. The Rossmeyer name has become synonymous with Daytona Beach and Harley-Davidson. In January 1994, Bruce Rossmeyer opened his first Harley-Davidson dealership on Beach Street in Daytona Beach. He became known in the community for his warm, friendly nature and his smart business savvy. And his dealerships were built on the passion, drive, and bear hugs of Bruce Rossmeyer. Quickly, he became one of the nation's largest Harley dealers, with 13 dealerships across the U.S. In 2005, he opened the 109,000 square foot Bruce Rossmeyer's Daytona Harley-Davidson, part of a massive entertainment and retail complex where events year-round bring visitors from around the world. Then, in the summer of 2009, Bruce was tragically killed in an accident, and his children had to step into their father's shoes and continue his vision. The youngest daughter, Shelley, is now the general manager. I got to sit down and talk to her about her family, her work, and her father. Bruce Rossmeyer's Daytona Harley-Davidson is the largest Harley-Davidson dealership in the country. Yes. That's real cool.
Yes.
When people come here, what will they see?
They'll see about everything and anything Harley-Davidson has made, from motorcycles to clothing to every part and accessory that you can possibly put on a motorcycle. You're going to see a lot.
Now, this is a family-run business. Who are the players and what do they do?
Well, myself as the general manager of the whole dealership, and my husband is our general counsel. He actually does a little of everything business side. Mandy, our oldest of 5 of the siblings, she handles promotions and events. And Will, our brother, does about anything we need him to do. We all dive in. We all kind of just handle whatever needs to be handled.
Do you have a Harley yourself?
Yes.
What do you have?
A road glide. It's part of like the touring family, but and it's actually what my dad rode. We were out in Sturgis one year, and he was leaving and I was staying because we used to go out there to work. And I grabbed his bike because I didn't bring one particularly that year. And when I came home, I said, I think this is what I'm going to ride from now on. He's like, well, you're not riding that one. I said, okay, don't worry about it.
How old were you when you started riding?
I was like 8 years old.
8 years old?
Yeah, on little dirt bikes. Our whole family, have been riding. Since I'm the youngest of 5, I probably started around the same time as my older siblings did. So I got the hand-me-down motorcycle.
If a person has never been on a bike, what would you say to them?
I would always encourage people to try riding a motorcycle. The majority of people, I think, that go for it, they never go back. The specialness of riding a motorcycle is that you get to choose to ride a motorcycle or not. And then you get to choose what brand or what style of motorcycle. And that's what's cool, is when someone chooses to ride a Harley-Davidson, you just have automatically joined a family, So I think that's, and when you're around a whole bunch of other people riding Harley-Davidsons, it's powerful, and it definitely gives a sense of strength, in my opinion.
I know Harley Davidson riders don't tend to ride anything else but Harley Davidsons. Why?
I mean, I can speak for myself that it's bad. It's cool. Harleys offer a lot, and because there's such a variety, everyone's personalities can kind of fit into that brand. And from all different demographics and riding experiences, it's like the Harley Davidson brand kind of grabs, I think, a bigger portion of people out there. And I mean, I love all motorcycles, but there's something about having a Harley Davidson, that brand just sells them.
Stay tuned to McEwen's Mark as I speak more with Shelley about continuing her father's legacy. Plus, I speak to her family as well. Why are they coming to see you?
I'll give you a big hug, I guess. I don't know.
My conversation with Shelley continues about Bruce Rossmeyer's Destination Daytona. When a customer gets a bike from here, what do they get? What do you give them?
Well, they get hopefully an experience. I mean, we know there's choices out there to where you can go buy your motorcycle, but we've tried to build this environment for people to be able to kind of one-stop shop, but also have somewhere that they want to keep coming back to. And that's what my father built this for, was to make sure that you had a reason to come back and after purchasing a bike, or even just to come and look at the motorcycles. So I think what they get is just a knowledgeable staff of people, you know, that ride themselves, that can help in making hopefully an experience that they'll never forget.
Do your salespeople ride?
Yeah, they do. Not all of them, but most and majority of them. That's generally why they want to work in a motorcycle dealership, is because they ride.
They come here because it's in their blood and they want to tell people how cool these bikes are.
And we've had all different people come and apply to work here, but I'd say probably over 90% of them were already riding.
Tell me how Destination Daytona is involved with Bike Week.
I believe that everybody who comes to visit Bike Week will come to Destination at least once. It's definitely where you're going to find the elite vendor selection. You're going to find just the activity, from the entertainment to food to tons and tons of motorcycles from all walks of life. It is a cleaner option to walk around and see bikes and people and have fun. So it's definitely a place you have to visit when you come to Bike Week.
It's clear that Shelley is passionate about what she does, but to get to know her better as a person, I got her husband Dean to sit down and talk with us. So Dean, you are the general counsel and you're married to Shelley.
That's right.
Do you ever give her advice she doesn't take?
No. she eventually listens. It takes a little while, but you know, she listens to me.
Is he a good partner for you?
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, when Dean and I met, I was, as they say, rolling pretty fast, you know, through life, and I was just in the period of my life where I was engaging more in the dealership and really focusing on my future in this business. And he just stepped in at the right time, and we've definitely been great partners, and he's been a huge asset to this business and to our family as well.
Okay, Dean, your turn.
Well, yeah, she's like, you know, she was like a ray of sunshine, really, that came into my life, because you could see her personality. You know, when we first met, she was, you know, all happy, and she introduced me immediately to her mother or brother or sister. They just happened to be there, and you know, I was thinking, man, this girl really likes me. But then I figured out this is the way she is with everybody. And but anyway, then, you know, down the road, we, you know, much later we started, you know, dating and stuff, and she always had an impact like she does with a lot of people because of her personality and her spirit and stuff like that. So yeah, she's been, you know, the best thing that ever happened to me.
The more time I spent at Bruce Rossmeyer's Harley Davidson, the more it became apparent to me this was truly a family business. I met Shelley's sister, Mandy. Hello.
Hello.
So you say you ride?
Yes, I do. My dad gave me my first Harley when I was 15, so I guess I kind of got hooked right there, and my dad always had them.
What do you ride?
Right now I'm riding a Street Glide, 2012 Street Glide.
So what do you do here?
Really a little of everything, what needs to be done, but if I have to pick a title, I guess events and promotions, all the events that take place at Daytona Harley-Davidson and also on the property at Destination Daytona all kind of cross my desk.
Did you ever think of doing something else?
I always did something else until we built this dealership. I was a teacher and raising my kids, yes, until 2005 when we built this dealership. My dad said, when you're ready for a real job and want to make some money, you can come work for me. So that's when I decided to come work here and started in the sales department, and he just wanted me, like everyone kind of went from department to department and kind of learned the ropes, and I've been kind of juggled around wherever something needed to be done. I just have been thrown into that, and it's been good.
I met with Will Rossmeyer, Shelley and Mandy's brother, at the place it all began, the original store on Beach Street in Daytona Beach, which has now been turned into a museum. If someone walks in here, what will they see?
They'll see the beginning. They'll see the original store, where it started. We have faces up on the wall, actors, old employees since day one. And different murals, and this is where it started. So when I still think, even if people weren't here almost 20 years ago, you can feel that this was the original spot where it all started.
Why did you move from here to where the store is now?
Moved from here to Destination, we were bulging at the seams. We could not do any more work. Capacity here. We couldn't fit any more people in during events. You know, like I was saying, we were 50-inch waist trying to, you know, do work in a 20-inch waist. We couldn't. We were bulging. We couldn't do any more here in this facility.
When a person buys a Harley, that's just the beginning. If they decide to paint it, they decide to put add-ons to it. Tell me about that.
Everybody's unique. There's what you do to your bike, I may not do to mine, and vice versa. There's so many options nowadays, where years ago there was only a handful from the motor company, from Harley, and you went to the aftermarket side. But now Harley has changed that. They got very, very smart about changing different diameters on different things to where they were the first ones to have it, and then it took all the machining and the tooling of the aftermarket companies to try to catch up, and then their price went up, and then everything was good. The accessory book, it looks like a Sears catalog. I mean, it's thick. They got tons of parts now, and everybody's different on what they want to do to their motorcycle.
When people come into Destination and they come to see you, why are they coming to see you?
I'll give you a big hug, I guess. I don't. You know, we're a family business. We've been in it for years. We're honest, we're loyal, and you know, you buy a motorcycle from us, you're part of our family, not just the Harley Davidson family. You're part of the Rossmeyer family, and that's what my dad always told us. Just, you know, everyone's a customer. If they got $1 million or $1, they're the same customer, and just treat them like family, and that's what will keep us going.
Tell me about Destination's involvement with Bike Week.
Well, Bike Week. Again, this facility here at Beach Street was just too small. We couldn't take it to the next level. We were stuck where we were. So my dad's vision was to go up there. We started off with just 20 acres. Then it was 40 acres. Then it was 60 acres. Then it was 150 acres. And then we wound up with 300 acres. We wanted to be able to bring in the manufacturers. So it was a one-stop shop. The hotel, the restaurants, the bar, the Harley shop, J&P Cycles. We wanted people, when they come there, they don't have to leave. And that was what we were trying to capture.
In the summer of 2009, the unthinkable happened. Bruce was killed in an accident, and his family was left behind to carry on his legacy. When we come back, I talk to the Rossmeyer kids about their father and the extraordinary impact he had on each one of them. Tell me about your dad.
You know, his birthday was Monday recently, and so I guess you missed him a little more around those times.
He was very special because he was a trustworthy man. He had a lot of fun.
When your dad passed away, why carry on? Why continue to do this?
That wasn't even a question. That's what he prepared us for.
Bruce Rossmeyer's unexpected death changed everything for the Rossmeyer family. Left to care for his business that he built from the ground up, they did just that. Will and I visited his father's original office. When you come to this office, what are your memories?
It'd take too long to tell you. This is where it all started. I mean, we were very, very, very fortunate that we were able to get into the motorcycle industry. The dealer that was here present came to my dad and said, "Hey, I want out. Harley wants to go big. I don't want to. Do you want to be a dealer?" And my dad thought it would be a cool weekend job. And now this is where it's come. I mean, I get at hurricanes when we used to have them. I used to stay here. You know, just
because of the break.
Just everything. It was just that was my. My thing to do. I was living here for the first few years we opened, pretty much, and but I come in here all the time, and again, I think my dad's going to come in behind me and start yelling at me to get to work. So there's lots of memories.
Shelley opened up to me about her father as well. Tell me about your dad.
He was very special because he was a man that you kind of wanted to know. He was a trustworthy man. He had a lot of fun, and he definitely had a vision in something that he loved doing. I think from me as his daughter, he guided me, but he also did a lot for a lot of people.
You told me this great story about him having taking the kids to go riding, but it was really to get you guys out of the house. Tell me that story.
Well, I can remember just my mom pretty much saying, "Get these kids out of the house," and next thing you know, we were in the back of a truck with motorcycles holding on to them, and we were headed out to, growing up around Ormond Beach, Daytona Beach area, there was so much undeveloped back in when we were growing up that you would just go out to these dirt fields and you could just rip around, and I do remember throwing us all in the back of the truck and heading out there and spending most of the day and coming home and being all dirty, and just, it was just good times with Dad. So definitely growing up. We also had an area in our driveway that we made little tracks and trails to ride our little dirt bikes. So it was in our driveway. It was kind of a backyard playground.
When people come in here, what do they tell you about your dad?
They definitely comment on, they acknowledge all that he had done in at least in the community here, and that's probably what I hear the most out of people's mouth. They just said, "Your father did so much, and we miss him." So, and I always love to hear that.
Bruce deeply cared for helping people in his community. He worked heavily with Camp Boggy Creek for seriously ill children in Central Florida. He also established Ride for Children and raised over $4 million for the camp to date. When your dad passed away, why carry on? Why continue to do this?
That wasn't even a question. It was almost, I mean, we were having fun. We were having a lot of fun as a family and as a business, and there was no other option. That's what he prepared us for. I mean, we were all prepared to kind of continue on. We just weren't prepared for that timing, as anyone wouldn't be, you know.
You know, his birthday was Monday recently, and so I guess you miss him a little more around those times. But I know a lot of people that have passed away, but there's not one day that somebody doesn't come by my office or come in here and say, I knew your dad, or what a great man, or how special, or of course he was special because he was my dad, but he was special to a lot of people in the community, around, actually anywhere I go in the country, there's somebody that knew my dad. He almost, I don't know if, his presence, he just had a presence. You know, when he was in the room, he was lighting it up, and we were always having fun. I mean, there were times where it wasn't fun, and you knew when it wasn't going to be fun, but he was just awesome.
Did you ever think of when he passed away that was it, we'll do something else?
No. There was just no question in any of our minds that we would ever give up, and just that you wanted to, I guess. There was a part of you, like the first day coming back to work, I don't remember exactly where we were, but my mom was like, okay, let's go. You know, she was so strong, and I didn't want to come back in here, but we all knew what we had to do. There was no way that we would let him down, or would want him to think for a second that we wouldn't move forward and do what he expected.
I think it's time we talk to the head of the family, Sandy Rossmeyer, Bruce's wife. Sandy, tell me about the early days with your husband.
They were never boring. Bruce always loved to work. He had a great work ethic, and he knew I would take care of the kids, so that's what I did. That was our job. That was our agreement. He would work and I would take care of the kids, and it worked.
Why do you think people thought of him as being as special as he was?
I think Bruce had a way of making you feel special if he talked to you. And I think that's what people liked. One of his favorite things he used to tell me he was going to go do at work. He said, I'm going to go out and shake hands and kiss babies. And he loved that.
This is a family-run business. Tell me about that.
Well, it's a family-run business because I've been very lucky that my kids have wanted to stay in the family business. That doesn't happen a lot. Bruce set a great foundation for his children. I have to say I didn't have anything to do with work. My job was to hold down the home, and I've been thrust into that, but the kids, they're running the business. They really are. And I've been blessed with that, but like I said, Bruce had set a good foundation, and they're just continuing his dream.
The Rossmeyers continue to further their father's vision and follow his mantra, accelerate your dreams. Thank you for joining us on this glimpse into the Rossmeyer family. This family is nothing if not resilient. They not only suffer the loss of the man who created this empire, let's not forget, he was also their father. Please plan to stop by and visit Bruce Rossmeyer's Daytona Harley-Davidson and experience the vision of this amazing family for yourself. But be warned, you may not leave without a bear hug or two. I spent the whole day with this bunch, and Chili, I trust her so much, she got me on the Harley. I'm riding. See you next time on McEwen's Mark.
Go.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of McEwen's Mark. Stay tuned for more episodes.